The cold cave and the crying baby snow fell hard outside the cave. The wind screamed like a wild animal. Inside the dark cave, a mother held her baby close. Her arms were shaking, not from fear, but from cold. She wrapped her thin cloak tighter around the baby, but it was not enough. The little one was pale. His skin looked too white. His breathing was weak. The mother touched his face and whispered softly in her alien language, "Just a little longer, my love." The baby cried, a small broken sound that echoed through the cave. She looked outside. The sky was full of fire and smoke. Enemy ships flew over the mountains, scanning the ground with red lights. She pulled the baby close again and hid deeper in the shadows. Her name was Sarah. She had run for 2 days with no food, no rest. Her body ached, but she could not stop. The soldiers were hunting her. Not because she was a soldier, she was not. She was only a mother, but her baby was special. He had something in his blood. Something the enemy wanted. She had escaped the labs where they kept her. She stole her baby back. She ran through forests, climbed over rocks, crossed frozen rivers, until she found this cave. Now she was trapped. Then she heard something. Footsteps. Heavy, careful, coming closer. Her heart jumped. She picked up a sharp rock from the ground. She held it tight in her hand. If this was the end, she would fight. She would not let them take her baby again. The footsteps stopped at the cave's edge. A shadow moved. Then a voice spoke. "I'm not here to hurt you." The voice was calm, deep, not harsh like the enemy's. She froze. That voice. It sounded human. Then the figure stepped into the cave. It was a man, tall, wrapped in thick clothes. A light blinked on his shoulder. His eyes scanned the cave and stopped when he saw the baby. He raised his hands slowly. "I'm not your enemy." Sarah said nothing. She just stared. The rock in her hand was shaking now. "Your baby is sick," the man said gently. "He needs warmth." She looked down. The baby's eyes were barely open. His fingers had stopped moving. She didn't trust this man. He was human, one of the war takers, the people who came from the stars and fought with fire, but her baby was dying. The man slowly took off his thick jacket. He walked forward carefully, step by step, and knelt down in front of her. "Please," he said, "let me help." She looked into his eyes. There was no anger, no trick, only kindness and sadness. Still silent, she let him place the jacket around the baby. The thick coat was warm. The baby stopped crying. His small hand moved again. The man smiled. "There we go." Sarah finally spoke, her voice quiet and rough. "Why, help," the man looked at her. "Because I saw your signal, and because no one, no mother, should die alone in the cold." She stared at him. This human, he was alone too. No army, no weapons, just him. The man sat down, rubbing his hands near a small heat light from his belt. "My name's Cole," he said. "I'm a medic. I was left behind after the last battle." Sarah didn't answer, but she didn't tell him to leave either. They sat in silence. Outside, the wind blew harder. Red lights from enemy ships flashed in the distance. Cole looked around. "This cave won't protect us for long. They're scanning everything. We need to move." Sarah hugged her baby. "Can't. He is too weak." "Then I'll carry him," Cole said simply. "You just stay close to me." She looked at him again. This man was strange, gentle, brave, kind, and maybe, just maybe, her last hope. Then they both heard it. A loud sound in the distance. Boom. Enemy soldiers had landed nearby. Cole stood up fast. They found something. Sarah's hands tightened around the baby. Her fear returned. Cole looked at her and said quietly, "I won't let them take him." He held out his hand to her. Sarah looked at it. Outside, death waited. Inside the cave, one human stood between her and the end. She took his hand. Why is a human helping? The cave was dark again. Outside, the snow kept falling. But now the silence felt heavy, like something was watching. Sarah followed close behind the human, Cole, holding her baby close. Her feet slipped on the icy ground, but she didn't complain. She couldn't. Her throat was dry, her body was weak, and fear sat in her chest like a cold rock. Cole walked in front, a small light on his wrist guiding the way. He moved quickly but carefully, always listening, always watching. Sarah didn't trust him. Not yet. She kept one hand under her cloak, fingers touching the sharp rock she'd hidden earlier. Her baby gave a soft sound. He was still alive, but weak. The warmth from Cole's jacket had helped, but not enough. She needed food, heat, medicine. And yet, this human, a stranger, had saved them. Why? Why would a human risk his life for her? She remembered what his kind had done. Fire from the sky, ships that screamed like monsters, her village burning, her people running, her sisters falling, and now, one of them walks ahead of her like a guardian. No, it didn't make sense. They stopped when the tunnel opened into a large, icy chamber. The roof above was cracked and beams of gray light slipped through the cracks like ghost fingers. Cole turned around. We rest here. 10 minutes. That's all we can risk. Sarah nodded but stayed silent. Cole sat on a rock, pulled a small pack from his belt and unwrapped a ration. It smelled strange, salty and dry. He broke it in half and held it out to her. Take it. You need it more than me. She looked at the food, her stomach screamed. Her pride resisted. I don't poison, he said quietly. If I wanted to hurt you, I would have let you freeze. Still watching him, she took the food. Her hands shook as she ate. Cole didn't stare. He just looked at her baby. He's strong, still breathing. Sarah nodded. His name is Liar. Cole smiled. Liar, strong name. There was a pause. Then he asked the question. Why were they chasing you? Sarah froze, her eyes narrowed. You already know. I want to hear it from you, he said. Sarah looked down at her baby. They want his blood. Cole waited. She sighed. He is born different, not like others. His blood, it can heal. It can change things. The soldiers found out. They wanted him for their war. Cole's eyes widened just slightly. He understood now. Your own people sold you out? She nodded slowly. To save themselves. The cold silence returned. Cole stood and turned off his wrist light. Then, a sharp click echoed through the chamber. Sarah froze. Cole raised his hand fast, motioning for silence. Another click, then a buzz. Drones, scout machines. They were near. Cole whispered, Move, now. They slipped into a narrow side tunnel. Cole moved ahead, but the sound of the drones grew louder. The machines were fast, clever, and heartless. One wrong sound, and they were dead. Sarah held her breath. Her baby was silent against her chest. They reached a tight space where the tunnel split in two. Cole stopped. Which way? Sarah looked around. She had no idea. Then the tunnel behind them filled with red light. A drone floated around the corner, small, metal, and armed. Sarah backed up, but her foot hit a loose rock. Crack. The sound echoed. The drone turned. Its red eye focused on them. Cole moved instantly. He pulled a small disc from his belt and threw it at the wall. A blast of smoke filled the tunnel. Run, he shouted. They ran left. Sarah didn't think. She just followed. Gunfire sparked behind them, bright red blasts cutting through the smoke. A shot hit the wall beside her and sent shards of ice flying. She fell, but Cole grabbed her arm. Keep going. They stumbled through the tunnel. At last, the path opened into a wider space. A hidden cave with a strange glowing crystal in the center. Cole slammed his hand on a panel hidden behind a rock. A steel door closed behind them with a heavy clang. Silence. only their breathing now. Sarah collapsed against the wall, clutching Lyre tight. Her heart beat so fast she felt dizzy. Cole leaned against the opposite wall, gasping. That was close. She looked at him, really looked. His clothes were dirty, his eyes tired. A long scar ran down one side of his neck. He wasn't a soldier anymore, he was just a man, alone, trying to do the right thing. She asked, "Why did you help me?" He looked at her. "Because when I saw your signal," he said slowly, "I remembered something. My sister. She died holding her baby. No one helped her. I couldn't save her. But maybe I can save you." Sarah said nothing. But in that moment, something inside her heart changed. Just a little. She no longer saw a monster. She saw a human who had also lost everything. And still chose to care, escaped through the ice tunnels. The steel door behind them was ice cold. Sarah sat with her back against the wall, still holding Lyre close to her chest. The baby was warm now, wrapped in the thick jacket. But his breathing was slow, too slow. She could feel it. Time was running out. Cole knelt across from her, pressing buttons on his wrist device. A small map appeared in the air, glowing blue and red. "We're trapped," he said quietly. "This chamber leads into the old mining tunnels. They're deep, dangerous, and mostly frozen. But it's our only way out." Sarah didn't answer. She was still thinking about what he said earlier, about his sister, about her baby. Why had this man survived while others didn't? Why had he been left behind? "Why do you know these tunnels?" she asked finally. Cole looked at her, surprised. "Because I was stationed here 2 years ago. We helped dig them. Then we left when the war started getting worse, but I stayed for a reason." He didn't explain the reason, and she didn't ask. There wasn't time. Outside the door, the drone buzzes grew louder again. Cole stood up and opened a hidden hatch in the floor. Cold air rushed upward, sharp as knives. "These lower tunnels haven't been scanned in months," he said. "But they're not safe. Icequakes, wild vents, collapsed paths, and things that live down there." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Things?" He gave her a tight smile. "You'll see." They climbed down, one step at a time, into the dark. The tunnel was narrow, sharp ice hanging from the ceiling like teeth. Their boots cracked over frozen puddles. Strange noises echoed around them, deep creaks, far-off rumbles, and once, something that sounded like breathing. Sarah walked behind Cole, holding Lyre, whose small body was wrapped in layers of cloth. She whispered a song from her village, soft and slow, a lullaby meant to protect the soul. Cole looked back. "What are you singing?" "A prayer," she said, "to keep death away." He nodded. "Keep singing, it helps." They moved deeper, and the air grew colder. The walls were no longer just ice, they were metal, broken machines, old drills, empty crates, forgotten tech from before the war. And then they found it. A dead body, frozen in place. A soldier, not human. One of hers. His hands were reaching out, mouth open in a silent scream. Cole walked around the body carefully. This is old, before the big retreat. They tried to escape too, but didn't make it. Sarah stared at the body. She had known this soldier, not by name, but by face. He was one of the rebels who had once tried to fight back, and now he was a statue in the dark. Suddenly the tunnel shook, a low rumble. Then another. The ice above cracked. "Move!" Cole shouted. They ran as the tunnel groaned around them. Chunks of frozen ceiling crashed down behind them. The path they had just walked was gone, buried under tons of ice. Lyre cried out, sensing the fear. Sarah held him tighter. "Shh, shh. We're safe." But they weren't. Not yet. They reached a wide chamber. There were 4 tunnels ahead, each leading deeper. Cole checked his map. All four were red. "This is bad," he whispered. "What's wrong?" she asked. "The path I wanted to take, it's collapsed. The other three are unstable. But if we don't choose one, the drones will find another way down here." Sarah looked at her baby, then back at Cole. "Then we choose." Cole nodded, picked the rightmost tunnel, and they went in. This tunnel was different. The walls had strange markings, symbols in a language neither of them knew, and strange, dark shapes hidden in the ice, shadows that looked almost alive. "This area wasn't on my map," Cole muttered. This is older than the mining routes." They kept walking. Then the air changed. It became warmer. Sarah noticed it first. Lior stopped shivering. Cole wiped sweat from his brow. "Something's wrong. We're too deep for heat." Then, the tunnel opened into a huge chamber, and what they saw froze them in place. A machine, giant, glowing, sleeping beneath layers of ice and time. Its heart beat slowly, thump, 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 like a monster waiting to wake. Sarah stepped back. "What is that?" Cole stared in disbelief. "I don't know, but I think it's alive." Then a light blinked on the machine. It had detected them. Cole pulled her back. "We need to go. Now." But as they turned, a voice echoed through the chamber, not from speakers, from inside their heads. "The child. Bring the child." Sarah froze. Her baby whimpered in her arms. Cole raised his weapon. "What was that?" "He is the key," the voice whispered again. Suddenly, Liar's skin glowed faintly under the jacket, his tiny hand lit with soft blue light. Cole looked at the baby, then at the machine, then back at Sarah. "What is your son?" he asked, his voice tight. Sarah didn't answer, because in that moment, she didn't know either. The machine that waited, the ancient machine, pulsed under the ice. Slow, alive, watching. Sarah took a step back, her arms tight around Liar. The baby's skin still glowed faint blue under the cloth. He was breathing faster now, but not from fear. It was like something inside him was answering the machine. Cole stood between them and the glowing chamber. His hand hovered near his weapon. "That thing spoke in my head," he said quietly. Sarah nodded. "Mine too." Then the voice came again, soft but deep inside their minds. "He is born of the old seed. He must awaken what was left behind." The machine stirred, not fully, just enough to groan and shift like an ancient creature dreaming. A hiss of hot steam rose from the cracks in the floor. The ice around it began to melt, revealing sharp metal limbs and glowing wires like veins. Cole raised his weapon. "We need to get out. Now." But Sarah wasn't sure. Lior's hand reached out toward the machine on its own. His small fingers trembled, glowing brighter. Cole saw it too. "He's reacting to it," Cole whispered, "like it knows him." Sarah looked at her son. "He's never done this before." Cole took a step closer to the machine. "This place, it's not just old tech. This is pre-war, maybe even pre-empire. It was buried, on purpose." Sarah's voice shook. Why would something this powerful be buried and forgotten? Cole didn't answer, because deep down he already knew it was dangerous. Suddenly the air shifted. A new sound filled the chamber. Marching metal feet. Dozens of them. The tunnel behind them lit up with red drones. Cole spun around. "They found us." Sarah backed up. "What do we do?" "We make a choice," he said. "Run deeper into this thing, or fight and die here." The voice returned again, louder now. "Bring the child forward, the gate must open." Cole stared at Sarah. She stared at the machine. Then Liar began to cry, but his cry was not normal. It echoed. The sound hit the walls like a wave. The ice cracked. The glowing veins of the machine flared to life. Symbols lit up around the chamber in a spiral. The machine was waking up. And it wasn't angry. It was waiting. Cole grabbed Sarah's arm. "This is our only way out." Sarah hesitated. She had trusted no one. Not the rebels, not her people, not even her own blood after they betrayed her and sold her child's life. But this human, Cole, had risked everything without asking for anything. So she nodded. They ran toward the heart of the machine. The ground shook with each step. The machine opened, slow metal doors parting like jaws. Steam and light poured out. Inside was a lift platform. Symbols hovered in the air above it, glowing blue, waiting for touch. "Go," Cole said, pushing her gently onto it. She stepped, on still holding Lyre. Cole stepped in beside her. Behind them, the tunnel exploded with sound. Drones poured into the room. Weapons ready. One fired. The blast flew past Cole's head, just missing. He slammed his hand down on the panel. The lift dropped fast. Darkness swallowed them. Only the soft blue lights guided their fall. They didn't speak. Just the sound of the platform falling deep, deeper than any mind should go. After what felt like forever, the lift slowed, then stopped. The doors opened, and they saw something no one had seen in hundreds of years. A city, buried in the earth. Frozen in time. Towers of glass and steel. Silent roads. Lights flickering on, one by one, like the city itself was breathing again. Sarah stepped forward. This isn't just a machine." Cole stared. "This is a vault, a hidden world." Then, the voice came again, not in their heads this time, but all around them. "The blood of the child has opened the path. Humanity left this place in fear. Now the last of them returns, not alone." Sarah turned to Cole. "What does that mean?" He didn't answer. Because something was stepping out from the shadows. Not a drone, not a soldier. A woman. Human. But her skin glowed faintly like Lyre's. Her eyes were silver and her hair floated as if underwater. She looked at Cole, then at Lyre, and she smiled. "We've been waiting," she said. "The future is inside him." The woman with silver eyes. She stepped out of the shadows like a ghost. Tall, calm, and glowing softly. Her skin was pale, almost glass-like. Her silver eyes didn't blink. Her long white hair floated around her head as if there was no gravity. She looked at Sarah and the baby, but not with kindness. She looked like someone who already knew what would happen. "We've been waiting," she said again. Her voice was smooth. Too smooth. Cold. Sarah stepped back. Lior whimpered in her arms. The glow from his skin was fading, now. He was tired again. Too tired. Cole stood in front of them. "Who are you?" The woman tilted her head. "I am the Guardian, the last interface of this vault. I protect the memory of what was, and what should not return." Her silver eyes turned to Lior. "But he is not what we expected." Sarah's voice was firm. "Stay away from him." The woman didn't move. She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You do not understand. The child is not yours to keep. He is the last spark of something that once burned too bright. If he lives, everything hidden here will wake." Cole raised his weapon. "He's just a baby." "He is more than that," she replied. "His blood holds forgotten data. Locked genes, the final key. That is why the drones were hunting him." Sarah's heart pounded. She looked down at her son. Lior's tiny hand reached up and touched her cheek, calming her for a moment. Then the woman stepped closer. "I will not hurt him, but the vault must protect itself. The humans left this world after breaking everything they touched. The vault was sealed to make sure their creations never walked again." Cole frowned. "What creations?" The woman looked past them, and the walls began to shift. Lights turned on. Machines woke up. Glass tubes rose from the ground. Inside them were shapes, humanoid, tall, sleeping. Some were metal, others flesh. Some a strange mix of both. Sarah stared. "What are they?" The woman's voice was lower now. They were weapons, living ones, made by humans during their final war. Powerful, smart, unstoppable. But they turned on their makers. One of the tubes cracked. A long hand twitched inside. Cole stepped back. "You're waking them up." "No," she said. "He is." She pointed to Leor. Sarah shook her head. "He's just a baby." A baby carrying the final code. Suddenly alarms echoed through the vault. The silver-eyed woman turned sharply. "No. Someone else has entered the system." Cole checked his device. More drones. They had found another way in. "They're coming," he said. "And if they find this vault, they will try to take the child," the woman finished. The ground shook. One of the sleeping weapons opened its eyes, blue and glowing. The machine inside the tube pushed against the glass. Crack, crack, boom! The tube exploded. The creature stepped out. It looked human, but too tall, too perfect. Its eyes scanned the room like a machine. Then it focused on Liar, and it spoke. Target acquired. Cole fired. The blast hit the creature, but it didn't fall. It just turned its head. Sarah screamed and ran. Cole followed, shooting as he moved. The silver-eyed woman stood still, watching. "You woke them," she whispered, "and now they will not stop." They ran through the metal halls of the vault. Old lights blinked on. Dust shook from the ceilings. More pods cracked open behind them. They reached a stairwell. Sarah clutched Leor close. "Where do we go?" Cole checked the map. "This way. There's an escape passage. It leads to the top ice caves." Sarah looked back. One of the creatures was following, quiet, fast, like death in a body. They ran. The halls twisted. More broken machines lay in pieces. Signs of an old battle. Burn marks. Bones. Finally, they reached a door. Cole hacked the panel. It opened with a heavy hiss. Inside was a long chamber, like a temple. At the far end, a tall device stood humming. It looked like a portal. Sarah hesitated. "What is that?" "I don't know," Cole said. "But it's human tech, pre-war. Maybe it'll lead us out." The silver-eyed woman's voice echoed behind them, though she was nowhere in sight. "You cannot run forever. If the child awakens fully, the vault will not contain what sleeps." Sarah stepped onto the platform with Liar. Cole followed. The machine came to life. Then, a hand grabbed the edge of the platform. The weapon creature was here, its eyes locked on the baby. Sarah screamed. Leor screamed too, his skin glowing bright now, too bright. The entire vault shook, symbols flashed, the portal fired, light swallowed them. And the world vanished. Through the gate of fire, the light vanished, then came heat, blinding heat. Sarah fell, to her knees holding Leor tightly. Her heart raced, she could barely breathe. Around her, the air shimmered like fire without flame. Cole hit the ground beside her, gasping. "We're alive," he whispered, "but where are we?" They were no longer in the vault. This place was different. It was ancient, but not broken. The ground was smooth black stone. Strange symbols glowed beneath their feet. The sky above them, if it was a sky, was not real. It shifted like smoke filled with flashes of red and orange, like someone had trapped a burning storm behind a wall of glass. In front of them stood a giant arch. A gate, still glowing, still open. They had passed through it. But what was on this side? Sarah looked around. "This isn't another part of the vault." Cole shook his head. "No, this is older, deeper. This might be the real core." Then a voice spoke, not from a machine, not from a person, but from the stone itself. "Welcome to the forge." Sarah stood slowly. "What is this place?" the voice replied. "This is where your kind tried to make gods." Suddenly, torches lit themselves all around the walls, and they saw the truth. Statues lined the chamber. Each one was different, but all had human faces, taller, sharper, perfect. Some had wings, some had extra arms, some had no mouths at all. All of them looked down with cold, carved eyes. Cole whispered, "They tried to make perfect soldiers. Here." Sarah held Lior closer. He was silent now, watching everything with wide eyes. But the glow in his skin had returned, stronger than ever. Then they heard footsteps. Not machines, not weapons. Humans. Cole raised his weapon, tense. Figures stepped out from the shadows, wearing black robes. Their eyes glowed faint blue. Their skin looked like it had been changed by something, not fully human anymore. One of them spoke. "Put down your weapon, we've been waiting for the child." Sarah stepped in front of Lior. "Who are you?" The man smiled. "We are the keepers, the last ones who stayed behind when Earth fell. The vault was only a door. This is what lies behind it." Cole narrowed his eyes. "You're not just survivors." "No," the man said. "We're watchers, guardians, and builders. The forge was meant to remake the world, after it burned." He looked at Lior. "And now it can begin." Sarah's heart pounded. "What do you want with him?" Another keeper stepped forward. A woman. Her face was kind, but her eyes were empty. "The child carries code from the first forge-born. He is not just human. He is what comes next." Cole spoke sharply. "He's not a weapon." "No," the woman said. "He's the key." Suddenly the torches flickered. The air turned cold. The gate behind them roared with fire again. Something was trying to follow them through. One of the statues cracked. A hand pushed out from the stone. Cole aimed. "We're not alone." The keepers didn't move. "We knew it would follow," the man said calmly. "The machine inside the vault. The first one they made. It was never destroyed, only locked away." Sarah turned. "It's coming for Lior." The statue burst open. A figure stepped out. Tall. Metal and flesh. Its face was half machine, half human. One eye glowed red. One was dark. It spoke in a voice that was both male and female. "Child detected. Activating Protocol Omega." The keepers didn't fight. They fell to their knees. Cole grabbed Sarah. "Run!" They ran through the chamber. The creature followed. Silent. Fast. Deadly. Lior began to cry, but not normal. Crying, his voice echoed again, just like before. Symbols on the ground lit up. The forge responded. Doors opened ahead. A path revealed itself. They ran. Behind them, the first weapon moved faster now. Chunks of stone exploded as it chased them. Finally, they reached a circular room. At the center, a throne. Metal. Glowing. Waiting. Cole looked around. This was where the first king sat. Sarah looked at the throne. It was small, not made for a warrior, made for a child. Lior reached out. The throne lit up brighter. The voice returned. "He is the heir. The forge recognizes him. Activate rebirth." Sarah froze. "No, he's just a baby. He's mine." Cole grabbed her shoulder. "I think this is the only way. If he doesn't sit, that thing won't stop." The creature entered the room. Blades out, ready to kill. Lior touched the throne, and it took him, gently, but quickly. He was pulled in, wrapped in light, floating. A circle of symbols appeared around him, spinning faster and faster. The creature roared. It rushed forward. Sarah screamed, and then the forge exploded with light. Everything shook. The machine fell to the floor, broken, silent. The keepers were gone. The statues cracked. The fire sky faded to black, and Lior was still floating, but now he was glowing like a star. His eyes opened. They were no longer a baby's eyes. They were ancient. The child who changed the war. The chamber had gone silent. The glowing throne dimmed. Sarah stood frozen, arms empty, tears running down her face. Cole stepped beside her, but even he didn't know what to say. Lior hovered in the air, no longer crying, no longer weak. He was still small, still her child. But something had changed. His eyes, they were filled with stars. Symbols of old Earth floated around him, flickering like fireflies. The Forge had done something, not just waking the past but rewriting it. Liar wasn't just human now, he was something new, something made to fix what the old world broke. Cole whispered. He's not a weapon. Sarah nodded slowly. He's hope. But then, the walls shook again, not like before. Worse. Far worse. Alarms screamed. The chamber lights turned red. Cracks raced. Across the floor. A voice from the Forge screamed, "External breach detected. Full invasion force inbound. Escape recommended. Repeat, escape recommended." Cole checked his scanner. They're coming. Ships. Thousands of them. The drones found the vault. They're digging straight through the planet's crust. Sarah looked at Lior. He's not ready. But Lior turned his glowing eyes toward her and softly touched the side of her face from the air. A voice. Not loud, not cold. Just him. Inside her mind. Mama. They hurt you. They hurt us. I won't let them again. His body lit up brighter, until he was a beam of gold light in the air. The Forge responded. The walls came to life. The broken statues reformed. Machines repaired themselves. Outside, above the planet, the sky began to burn. Alien warships blocked the stars. Thousands, each one armed, ready to finish what they started when they wiped out Earth's last cities long ago. And below them, the boy they feared had awakened. In orbit, commanders of the alien fleet stared at the glowing storm forming over the planet. "What is that light?" one asked. No answer. Another screen showed the vault's ancient systems coming online. Signals began to pulse into deep space. Old human codes, warnings, activations. Then came the voice, Lior's voice, transmitting in every known language. "We erased my people. You hunted my mother. Now I remember who I am." The commanders looked at each other in panic. "It's happening again," one whispered. "He's one of them." "No," another said. "He's something new." Back in the Forge, Lior landed gently on the ground. The glow faded from his skin, but not from his eyes. He was still a child, but now, he was in control. He walked to his mother and reached for her hand. "I'm still me," he said. "I just see more now." Sarah dropped to her knees and hugged him tightly. "You're my baby, that's all I care about." Then the roof above cracked open. A beam of light shot down. It wasn't a weapon. It was a transporter. Cole stared. "Someone's helping us." From the light, a human stepped out. Old armor, scarred face, the Earth flag still on their shoulder. "Name's Captain Rourke," the stranger said. "We picked up his signal. We're what's left of Earth's resistance, and we've got one shot to win this war." Cole's jaw dropped. "Humans still fight?" Rourke nodded. "We've been hiding for years. But now that the child's awake, the rules just changed." Lior looked up at the hole in the sky. He took a deep breath and flew. Straight up. No machine. No wings. Just will. He broke through the atmosphere like a comet, and behind him, the Forge powered up fully. Hundreds of old machines, guardians, weapons, once hidden under the planet, rose again, this time under his control. Above the planet, the alien fleet prepared to fire. They never got the chance. Lior rose between them, tiny, glowing, fearless. He stretched out his hand, and the ships froze. Every system inside them shut down, engines failed, weapons locked. Their war ended in a heartbeat. He didn't destroy them. He just made them stop. Because real power wasn't destruction. It was choice. Mercy control. He turned to the nearest ship and sent one message. "Go home. This war is over. She saved me. Now I save all of us." Back on the ground, Sarah looked up, still, holding Cole's hand. A tear slid down her cheek. She whispered, "My baby." Stopped a war. Cole smiled. No. Your baby changed the future. The forge closed behind them. Safe now. The light faded. And for the first time in years, the world felt warm again.